Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my new video. My name's AJ. I'm going to be talking about a couple of subjects today. First subject, I'm going to be talking about Biden's threat to defend Taiwan in the event of war. And the other subject I'm going to be talking about is this guy who's been coming on to social media and talking a lot of nonsense. So I'm going to give you my opinion on him as well. And also, please check your comments because 80% of the comments get deleted on my YouTube. I don't know why. So whenever you put a comment on, just make sure you check it. Try not to put any swear words because YouTube bots delete them automatically. And yeah, so just be careful, guys. So yeah, try and watch the video to the end, help the algorithms. And if you really like the video, if you really support what I do, then don't forget to buy me a coffee, or you can join my Patreon. And don't forget, guys, any help you can do to support the channel is much appreciated, because as you know, channels like myself do not get pushed out by YouTube and we hardly get monetized. So all the stuff I'm doing, I'm kind of doing it on my own accord, so any support would be appreciated. And yeah, as you know, the anti-Chinese channels do get pushed out a lot by YouTube's algorithm, so we're fighting against that, really. So we're fighting against that movement. So try and help out if you can. If not, don't worry, do your bit by supporting the channel, by liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing if you can. So without further ado, let's get on with the show. So I saw this article today. It looks like Biden has either slipped it out of his tongue or he meant it, that he would come to Taiwan's defense if there's a war in the Taiwan Strait. So first of all, I don't know if he understands what the US strategic ambiguity is, and also the one China principle, because US has not confirmed or denied that it would come to Taiwan's aid, and it's kind of a strategic ambiguity that the US have been playing over the years. But looks like this ambiguity is finally gone now, because Biden has kind of let the cat out the bag and said that US will definitely come to Taiwan's aid if there's a war in the Taiwanese Strait. So this changes a lot of things. First of all the separatists in Taiwan, all the people that want independence, are going to be asking for more independence. All the separatists are going to be wanting to be more separate, because Biden has said he's going to come to their aid, so they're going to do all the steps they can to be independent. So this is feeding the separatists. Secondly, Biden's obviously kind of feeding all the military complex as well, so they're probably licking their lips thinking, yes, war's coming our way, we can sell more weapons, we can make more money from the war. So all of these neocons are licking their lips after what you said. So my opinion in terms of China, guys, things have not changed. I mean, China will continue to develop its military along its coast. It's going to carry on developing its navy, it's going to carry on developing its air force, and 2025 is the year when I think China would beat the US. I mean, right now, you know, it's still 50-50, because I don't know if China's got enough hypersonic missiles, or if they're, you know, good enough to take down aircraft carrier. There's still question marks on that. Plus, in terms of the Air Force is still very young at the moment. In 2025, China would have loads of J-20s, F-31s, the H-20s. These will rival the US's F-22s and F-35s. And even though China would be fighting at home, they would probably most likely win, based on the numbers and the manufacturing capacity China has. And but there will be probably a lot of losses if the war breaks out any minute. If China can wait until 2025, I think China would have very little losses if they fought against the US, and the US is going to have a lot of losses by then, mainly because China should have a lot more hypersonic missiles by then, a lot more would be tested, and China would be a lot more ready. Because Biden has kind of let the cat out the bag, I think China has to prepare now for US's involvement. So they will need to test all of their hypersonic missiles. They'll need to build up their nuclear deterrent as well in case US starts a nuclear war with China. So they'll have to build more nuclear weapons, silos. It'll have to carry on building its navy. By 2025, China should have probably 4 aircraft carriers as well, and each aircraft carrier will have to be there to protect China's coast and have, up-to-date best aircraft, the J-20s or F-31s. It needs to be proper combat ready. If they can get Russia on board, that would be great, but I think China does not need Russia. I think China should be able to beat US even without Russia. If they can build a very good number of hypersonic missiles which could take down aircraft carriers, that would be a good thing, because if they fire, say, 10 hypersonic missiles on one aircraft carrier and maybe half of them miss and the other half maybe US shoots down 4 out of 5, even if one hits the aircraft carrier, that's still it's still a huge great win for China. So China will need hundreds and hundreds of these hypersonic missiles, if not thousands. Even if they fire 100 missiles at one aircraft carrier, even one hits, that's a great win. So China will need to spend the next 5 or even 10 years developing the hypersonic missile weapons. They'll need to build up their air force. One thing is, if Americans did come join this war in the Taiwan Strait, they'll have to come with the aircraft carriers. So the aircraft carriers need to be taken down at all costs. If China can bring down at least 1 or 2 aircraft carriers, I believe that will be a time when US will probably back down and say, hang on a second, our losses are too great. Maybe we shouldn't be fighting this war. So yeah, that's what I think. I've got a detailed video about the Taiwanese issue and the Taiwanese war, if it ever happens, and what will happen if the US intervenes. You can check my link description. I'll post a link there. But my opinion is there will be a war, and the main reason there will be a war because what Biden has said is just gonna push Taiwan to be more independent, because they're gonna think US is gonna protect us, US is gonna save us. Biden said he will help Taiwan. So you got the president of Taiwan and all of her, cronies are just gonna be wanting more independence after that comment, and they're gonna make more steps to be independent, and that's just gonna piss China off even more. And so, like I said, they'll probably want to start this war sooner rather than later, because the longer they wait, the more powerful China becomes. So that's my worry, is they will start it this year or next year, because I still think China needs at least 2025 to be in a very, very strong position to take Taiwan and to take US as well. Before that, I'm not sure. I think they will win, but there will be a lot of losses. So that's my opinion, guys. Let me know what you think about that. So before I get to the next topic, I want to talk about this guy. And this guy basically made a couple of videos, one about Tibet and one about Uyghurs, and he's been calling out Xi Jinping and China. And this guy is a basketball player playing for the Celtics. So I'm on this guy's Instagram page. It's got about 708k followers, which is quite a lot to be honest. And let's see now. Let's see what he has to say for Tibet, shall
Is
we?
free Tibet. Tibet belongs to Tibetans. I'm here to add my voice and speak out about what is happening in Tibet.
So, if you notice, guys, every time he speaks, his eyes are focused on not to the camera, but somewhere off camera, which tells me that he's been directed to say what he's saying on social media. So you can see his eyes are pointing somewhere else, and so someone's probably got a placard or putting up some signs for him to say what he's saying. And I don't think this is his own mind, because he doesn't have the intelligence um, or the knowledge to talk about Tibet, and it looks like someone is directing him. And you can see definitely his eyes are pointing somewhere else when he's talking. So let's see now.
Under the Chinese government's brutal rule, Tibetan people's basic rights and freedoms are non-existent. They are not allowed to study and learn their language and culture freely. They are not allowed to travel freely. They are not allowed to access information freely. The Tibetan people are not even allowed to worship freely. For more than 70 years, Tibetan monks, nuns, intellectuals, writers, poets, community leaders, activists, and many more have been detained, sent to political re-education classes, subject to torture, lengthy interrogations, and even been executed simply for exercising the freedom that you and I take for granted. There have been more than 5,000 political prisoners in Tibet the last 25 years. 5,000! Did you know that simply owning a photo of the Dalai Lama in Tibet is grounds for arrest? Even flying the Tibetan national flag could get you arrested. I say, shame on the Chinese government.
This dumb idiot, right? If you walk around America with a t-shirt with Osama bin Laden on it, what do you think that's going to happen? Not only are you going to get your ass beaten, you're going to be getting thrown into your ass into Guantanamo Bay. So this guy doesn't know anything about freedom or what he's talking about. And Tibet's a part of China. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Who's giving him this information? He's obviously out there to... he's obviously stupid, and someone's kind of put this story into his head and making him say this in social media. So I wouldn't be surprised if CIA's got involved, or somebody even higher's got involved, and I'll show you why. So let's continue, see what he says.
The Chinese dictatorship is erasing Tibetan identity and culture. The cultural genocide in Tibet is so stifling that more than 150 Tibetan people have burned themselves alive, hoping that such a horrific act of sacrifice will raise awareness and attention towards the ongoing abuses within Tibet. After learning all of this, I cannot stay silent. I stand with my Tibetan brothers and sisters, and I support their calls for freedom. The communist ideology of China has been around for only about 100 years, but Buddhist civilization, ideology, and philosophy has been around for thousands of years. Only the Tibetan people should decide the future of Tibet. 100%. Tibet belongs to the Tibetan people, and I hope and believe Tibet will achieve independence. Brutal dictator of China, Xi Jinping, I have a message for you and your henchmen. I will say it again, again, and again, loud and clear. I hope you hear me. Free Tibet.
Brutal dictator of China and his henchmen. Can you see the language he's using? He's obviously out there to insult China, and he's out there to rally all these anti-Chinese people. And what's all this going to cause, guys? It's just going to cause more anti-Chinese violence around America, anti-Chinese feelings, and he doesn't know anything about Tibet. Tibet is going through a huge change at the moment. It's all the people in Tibet having a huge change. from poverty, and they've got high-speed rail. They've got so much infrastructure happening in Tibet right now. It's improving the lives of people. He doesn't know anything at all. He's not. Doesn't understand anything. Doesn't understand the history. Tibet's part of China, and China's been around for thousands of years, not 100 years like he thinks he says. Tibet's always been part of China for thousands of years. So the West has obviously got him, and I'll say, I want to show you this as well, guys. I want to show you these images. You can see Mike Pompeo talking about this. So obviously he's got involved, and I want to show you these pictures of him with see all of these these hawks in the White House. So he's obviously gone to the White House and he met all of these hawks and anti-Chinese hawks in the White House, and they probably have kind of brainwashed him quite a lot. And they've probably said, listen, we need your help. Can you do this for our country? We'll obviously pay you. And obviously him being stupid as he is, he's fallen for it. He's not going to say anything about the real genocide happening in Palestine and stuff. So I think when he went to visit the White House, I think he got a couple of CIA agents went up to him, said, we need your help. Your country needs you. Can you do this for us? And he probably said, yeah. And that's why he's going through all of these placards and stuff. He made another video about the Uyghurs as well. I don't know if I should go for it, to be honest. But it's the same sort of thing, guys. He just doesn't know what he's talking about. He's talking about concentration camps.
Right now, as I speak this message, torture, rape, forced abortions, and sterilizations.
I want to show you this, guys. When he says rape, when he says rape, he's looking at someone else. He's looking off camera. So obviously someone's kind of telling him what to do. And see all of these t-shirts. He's not going to make these t-shirts by himself. Someone's given it to him. So there are people behind the scenes coercing him to do this and say these things. And him being the dumb idiot that he is, he doesn't know that he's causing a huge impact in his team, the Celtics, because China's never going to allow Celtic games to be shown anywhere in China ever again. And China is also one of the biggest sponsors of NBA as well, plus one of the biggest sponsors of the World Cup and all these great sporting events around the world. The last World Cup I was involved in, every time I watched a match, I saw Chinese companies sponsoring these World Cup matches, all of the banners and stuff. And same with the NBA, there's so many Chinese companies sponsoring it, like Tencent and many others. And Tencent was the first company to pull out from showing these games. So I don't know what he's doing. He's not only destroying his own career, he's destroying the Celtics' career. They're going to make less money because of this. And he might get a few fans, these anti-Chinese fans, saying, oh, you're such a hero, you're such a hero. But the real people who know the truth knows that he's just an idiot, guys. He's just an idiot, doesn't know what he's talking about, doesn't know the history of Tibet, doesn't know the history of China. And he's just a dumb case, just listening to people. You can see he's looking at someone while talking. He's not, this is not coming out of his own mind or his own head, because he doesn't have the capacity to talk about subjects like this. He's obviously been coerced. So his trip to the White House, has something to do with it. And I think he's been coerced by the CIA. And he's Turkish as well, so it's even worse. So he's a Turkish guy, has gone into the US, become a basketball star. I still can't get over his head. Looks like someone's painted over his head. Nobody has hair that black. Anyway, let's see.
Forced abortions and sterilizations, family separations, arbitrary detentions, concentration camps, political re-education,
blah blah blah. We've heard it all before, mate.
A surveillance state where freedoms are non-existent for the Uyghur people. The Chinese government has sent Uyghurs, along with Kazakhs, Tajiks, and other Muslim groups, to concentration camps for simply applying for a passport, for texting someone overseas, or for believing in anything that does not align with the Chinese Communist Party's agenda. Poets, intellectuals, musicians, while my Muslim brothers and sisters are getting killed, raped, and tortured. I'm talking about you, Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan, Saudi King Salman, United Arab Emirates.
Now he's calling out other Muslim leaders to make a stand, but maybe they're not speaking out because it's not true, mate. Have you thought about that? This guy is such an idiot.
Mohammed bin Zayed, Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi. It's shameful and sad how you have decided to prioritize money and business with China over human rights. You call yourself Muslims, but you are just using that for show. You simply do not care about people. And this goes to fellow Muslim athletes as well. Why are you staying silent? Mohamed Salah, Karim Abdul-Jabbar, Amir Khan, say something, do something, speak up.
He's bringing up all of these Muslim players and stuff. Amir Khan is a boxer from UK. Maybe they know what the truth is, mate. You know, instead of you being coerced by the CIA and being fed lies, and you're just stupid enough to fall for it.
Your silence and your inaction is complicit. To those of you watching who care about human dignity, please join me in spreading the word. What is happening to the Uyghurs is one of the worst human rights abuses in the world today.
Really? So what about Pakistan? What about in Palestine? What about India in Kashmir? Have you forgotten about that? Oh no, it's not in the CIA's narrative, is it? Oh, this guy, man.
We cannot stay silent. Heartless dictator of China, Xi Jinping, and the Communist Party of China, I'm calling you out right now in front of the whole world. Close down the slave labor camps and free the Uyghur people. Stop the genocide now.
So you see what I mean, guys? You know, this is the stuff the CIA is now playing with. They have turned up the anti-Chinese war rhetoric up a notch because you know that all of this is funded by the CIA. They're funding, probably giving him money to say this on social media, and probably saying, "Oh, we need you. Your country needs you." Blah blah blah. They're probably, you know, saying him, giving him a lot of bullshit like that. So it is happening a lot, guys, and all of this is turning up. And I can see, compared to the last few months, how much, you know, the US is dialing up the notch against China. And I think a war would be happening quite soon. All of this stuff, I've seen it before the Iraq war. You know, all of it is just one thing after another, one thing after another, one thing after another. You know, it's just, and now they're using him to get public support, the same way they did with that Iraqi girl who said people, you know, Iraqi soldiers were throwing babies in out of incubators and stuff, lying in front of the world. So they're going to be using social media stars to kind of spread the word and to get public opinion for the war. So that's why I think, guys, I hope the war doesn't start. I really hope peace has a chance, but my gut feeling says it could happen very soon.